I go for refuge eternal enlightenment to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, by the image of the accumulation of the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge eternal enlightenment to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, by my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until my enlightenment to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Desham Tathagato Yamatat Desham Chayo This morning we read independent origination. There is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no selflessness, no sameness. I prostrate to the bottom of the Buddha, the supreme of all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is freedom without vibrations. This stanza is the word of salutation by Arya Nagarjuna to Buddha Shakyamuni. One thing which is so unique for Arya Nagarjuna when praising the Buddha Shakyamuni in all his texts is always on the basis of this morning.
Washing clothes.
Oh, I see. Washing clothes.
She's washing clothes. She told me. She told me that you might have this trouble.
I see.
Bed sheets. You're washing bed sheets.
No, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
Yeah. Class. It's okay, she told me. Nothing to do, right?
Shabiraji.
That's so good. I was telling this close the door and we won't get that. Nice.
Okay. Arya Nagarjuna, whenever he said praise to Buddha Shakyamuni, is always done on the basis of the Buddha Shakyamuni is being taught dependent origination and compassion, and never on the basis of Buddha Shakyamuni having performed miracles. Of course, the Buddha Shakyamuni performs miracles so many times, but Arya Nagarjuna never praised Buddha Shakyamuni for having performed miracles, and instead praised Buddha Shakyamuni always on the basis of having taught dependent origination, having taught emptiness, having had the experience, having had a great compassion for sentient beings. From this we need to take a lesson. The final word for us, what is the real Dharma, is the manner in which Arya Nagarjuna praised Buddha Shakyamuni. not for any the medical so forth, but for teaching dependent origination. This is something which we have to learn, dependent origination, because how finally the Buddha Shakyamuni is to be respected for guiding us in eliminating all our problems, all our sufferings, all our fears. And what eliminates, how the sufferings are to be eliminated is by introducing counterforce. And the counterforce, as the Buddha himself said it, that Buddhas do not wash the negativities with beings. Nor does he remove the miseries by his hands. And his spiritual realizations are not to be transferred to the spiritual beings. It is only through teaching the suchness that the beings are liberated. So this is reality. To know reality, when your ignorance is gone, then you are liberated. This is the only way. So now, what if the ignorance is eliminated, how we achieve liberation? So this is indicated here in this text, in this passage, in this stanza. This is the word of salutation by Arya Nagarjuna in his classic text, fundamental wisdom of the middle way, Mulamadyamikakarika. Okay, it says the independent origination. What we learn is that dependent origination and emptiness, these are two sides of the same coin. So, when we see dependent origination, the third level of dependent origination, then the other side is emptiness, which means that dependent origination is to be seen by the conventional analysis. Other side, emptiness is to be seen by the argument analysis. It's the same object seen by two different analyses. So, what is seen as dependent origination by the conventional analysis will be seen as emptiness by the dependent origination, by the argument analysis. So here it says independent origination. Other side, dependent origination means things exist dependently. Independently, what is there? Independently, nothing is there. There is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness and no sameness. So these eight characteristics, they mark our existence. They mark the existence and they mark the phenomena, they mark the activities which then the effects, seeing of which as objective real, affects our emotional turbulence. Okay. For example, let's say when we speak about, oh, it's my birthday. And we celebrate, we feel so excited. It's my birthday. New Year, we celebrate. And then new millennia, we celebrate. Right? So the new things arise, then we feel so happy. Miseries arise, we feel so unhappy. Then the good things, they cease, we feel so sad. Bad things cease, we are so happy. What? Bad things cease, we're happy. Bad things arise, we are very unhappy. So, ceasing and arising. And the good people come to you, very happy. Good people go away from you, you're very unhappy. Bad people, you meet with the nasty people, you are so unhappy. Nasty people go away, you are very happy. So, ceasing and arising mark our emotional stirs. All emotions are on the basis of the phenomena of arising and ceasing. So, whereas it's all based of seeing the phenomena of arising and ceasing as objectively real. So, he said, whereas in reality, there is no objective ceasing, no objective arising. And then annihilation, no permanence. Annihilation is is okay. Annihilation is the cessation of the continuum, and the permanence is something which lasts forever without changing. So we see things as permanent. For example, say in our life, we see that, for example, say we buy a new car and somebody's crashed the car. Then it's just like your heart is crashed, and the birds they throw the droppings, right? You become so angry with the bird. And we want the car to be brand new, permanent. It should not be changed. Okay. So, the permanence and no annihilation. Then we say okay, things change, but things don't annihilate. Things change, but don't annihilate. For example, what we have is the physical body, the composite phenomena by the physical body. Our body stops at time of death, may be cremated, but the atoms cannot be cremated. Atoms, at the most, they change into energy. Energy will change back to atoms. There's a continuous flow of this thing. That was the mind. It never ceases. Okay, whereas what we don't like, we expect them to cease altogether. What we like, we want them to be permanent. No annihilation, no permanence. No coming, no going. And then good people, they come, you are happy. Good people, they go, you are unhappy. Bad people, they come, you are unhappy. Bad people, they go, you are unhappy. But there's happy, unhappiness, this is all the emotional stirs. It's all because of seeing the coming and going as intrinsically real. Then no separateness and no sameness. Again, the countries, they fight, saying that these two are one country, why you are splittest, right? We are actually to one country. Tibet is China's, this is China's, why you are there's internal, what do you call it, internal matters, you are encroaching the internal matters, this is Tibet. And the Germany, they say, no, we are two countries, same country, we are not different countries. Some fight that we are different countries, some fight that no, we are one countries. One different. Some fight, no, this is one family. The parents will say that, no, the children should be in one family, should not be split. Children should know, right? We are independent, I have to be independent. One and different people fight over that. So these 8 characteristics, seeing these 8 characteristics, in the first place, these 8 characteristics, they manifest the whole phenomena around us. All our actions relate to these 8 phenomena. And these 8 phenomena, when you see them as objectively real, then the emotional stirs happen. These emotional stirs give rise to contempt and calmness. Contempt and calmness give rise to miseries. Okay. So whereas in reality, these 8 phenomena, they don't really exist objectively. How do we know this? Only when we analyze these through ultimate analysis, we see that all the conventions, these are just conventions. They don't exist objectively. They don't exist ultimately. They are all conventionally real, coming, going, and so forth. It's all conventionally real. So the 8 phenomena, when we subject them to ultimate analysis, we see that all these 8 phenomena dissolve. Dissolve doesn't mean that in this ultimate analysis, they are like crystals and then dissolve. Not like this. They don't exist in this ultimate analysis. In the ultimate domain, they do not exist in the first place. So you realize that they don't exist that way. Okay. What you're experiencing the emptiness. In this emptiness experience, all the conventionality is absent. It dissolves. So there, mental turbulence dissolves in this experience. Mental turbulence. Mental agitation dissolves. Sorrow dissolves. Pain dissolves. All what we dislike dissolves. And you may say that even what we like also dissolves. Yes? So this is known as where you transcend the likes and dislikes. You transcend the likes and dislikes. This is a transcendent state. State where you transcend the mundane likes and the dislikes. You reach to the supramundane level. Okay, in this experience, all conventionalities dissolve, mental agitation stops in this experience. Mental agitation, pain, everything stops in this experience. So, they are involuntary pull and push, projection, things which affect you. Things which affect you, they all dissolve there. Now there's nothing left which affects you. So your mind gets a final rest. So therefore, the nirvana, this experience, nirvana, which is oftentimes referred to as the total liberation. You are liberated from the effect of the external factors. You are liberated, you are freed, because everything which otherwise can affect you, they all dissolve in this experience. Now nothing is left there to affect you. So your mind finally gets the rest, finds the rest. And you are liberated. You are not affected by external factors anymore. This is nirvana. Okay, so it says, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the concept of Buddha, the Supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace. Which peace? Experience emptiness where all the turbulence dissolves, all sorrow dissolves. Then the peace is experienced. That peace, nobody taught on this earth, because nobody taught emptiness except for the Buddha. So therefore, he's the one who taught this peace. Peace in experience of emptiness, where all the conventionalities, mental disturbance, agitations, which otherwise affect you. Even the good things also affect us. For example, somebody smiles, the involuntary you also have to smile. Okay, look at the other person sitting next to you. Right? Raviji smiles, so Shweta smiles, look, Shabiraji smiles. Right? Everybody smiling. Right? Which means that involuntary you are meant to smile. Even though you don't want to smile, still you have to smile. Right? Even this is good or bad? You smile, this is good. This is what is known as in samsara, this is good. Right? And actually within this there is one problem. The problem is that you do not voluntarily smile, it's involuntary smile. Right? Only when you see the person comes to you, then you smile. But the person away, you don't smile. You're getting it? So which means that that object affects you. When you become Buddha, would you smile or not smile? This is the question. Right? When you become Buddha. Okay, just to wait. First we'll finish this. At one point, it was many years ago, early times when Buddhism first went to West, there was one teacher who was giving teaching to the Westerners for the first time. And then the teacher was talking about achieving Buddhahood and so on. Then one lady raised her hand, said that I don't want to become Buddha. And the teacher said, why? Okay, in those days, in my school, I think there may be 2 or 3 telephones. Whole school of like about 2,000 students, only 2 or 3 telephones, no television. No television. Then after a while, when I was in class, I think 4 or 5, then the first television came, which was the black and white television. Black and white with all these dots. This was the television. And then 2 people have to, go by turn by turn. And what is there? Always cricket. And I did not know what is this, somebody's throwing something, somebody's hitting. It's just repetition. And then we'd watch it. What is this? Right? Okay, if something's moving, that's interesting, but it's always repeating. So I said, okay, so what I'm saying that those days, And of course in the West, at the same time, in the West, that color television just came out. Just came out. And this lady said that, I don't want to become Buddha. And the teacher said, why? Because if I become Buddha, I cannot watch television. You're getting it? Okay, so the question is, if you become Buddha, will you smile at somebody or not? This question. Huh? Right? It's not involuntary smile. It's not involuntary smile. Okay, just for information, some teachers, particularly His Holiness the Dalai Lama, whatever he does, there's a reason. Right? He pats you like this, there's a reason. He doesn't pat you, there's a reason. He smiles, there's a reason. Every detail, he is so meticulous with every movement. So some of the sutras, they say that the Bodhisattvas, even they taking breath has a reason. Even taking breath has a reason. So meticulous with, the meticulous, aware, so aware of one's own thought processes. Whatever he does, there's nothing naturally happening. It's so precisely aware of what he's doing. For example, when I'm doing like this, I'm not aware that I'm doing like this. You getting it? All these movements is amazing. So, the Buddhas, when you become Buddha, will you smile or not? If by smiling, if the other person benefits, you will smile. If by smiling, if the other person's harm, you will not smile. There's no involuntary. There's no, the action done without purpose. Okay, so the point is, if the virtues, why we talk about the contaminated virtues? Contaminated virtues is that even these virtues, the good things that we do, they're also affected by the self-grasping intelligence. In the dream, you see someone who's so poor, you go to help in the dream. Is it virtue or not? Is it virtuous? Of course it is virtuous to help somebody help somebody in the dream. But you are unaware that this is dream. So this virtue is contaminated by our unawareness that it is a dream. So seeing the dream is real, that contaminated this virtue. So this virtue is known as contaminated virtue. You're getting it? Okay. But contaminated virtues are not to be abandoned. We have to, like to cross the ocean, to cross the river, you use the boat. Don't say that, what should I do with this boat? After all, I will cross this river. After crossing the river, where should I keep this boat? Don't worry. Use the boat, cross the river, leave the boat. Likewise, what we have, the virtue that we have for the time being, it is contaminated. Once we become enlightened, then it becomes uncontaminated. Okay. So it says, the supreme among all teachers. Why supreme? Because what we seek, for a physicist, physics student who is the supreme scientist, Albert Einstein. For a chemistry student who is the supreme scientist. What's the lady's name? Madame Curie. Right? Madame Curie. She's the supreme. Okay. For those literature students, who is greater? Albert Einstein or Rabindranath Tagore? Yeah, for the literature students, no, Rabindranath Tagore is greater. Right? It is who is great, not great, so forth is determined by your passion. What do you like? Those young boys who are so crazy after football, they will not keep Albert Einstein's photo. They will keep the Messi's photo. Maybe Mondila also has Messi's photo? No? Okay, when I was in class 9, 10, I was so keen on physics. And my friend, he migrated to America. The early days, he migrated to America because, with his family. Then in those days, no emails. Letters will take about 1 month. Okay, young people, they don't have any experience. They have no experience. 1 month.
No?
Huh?
Why not?
No, only that is not your generation. Malika, no experience. No. Okay, this is our generation. Dilshan?
I didn't hear the question, sir.
My question is that communicating with me and you are in America, if we could email, or not email, send letters, totally, I send you a letter, I get your reply, it will take 1 month. Were you in that era? You have no clue. Yeah. No clue means you don't have experience. The good side is you are young. Bad side is you have no experience. Okay. So he sent me a letter. Dorji, my dear friend Dorji, what do you want from America? Then I was so excited. I said, I want a big poster of Albert Einstein. Right? So he sent me a letter, I sent him a letter, and then the answer that I'm expecting from him is about after 15 days. 15 days go there, 10, even 12 days, then he will write the letter. Then he has to go to the post office and come here in another like 12, 10 days, total 1 month. And it was, I think what, which year, 1987, 86, 87. That big poster even did not arrive even today. I asked big poster for Albert Einstein. It never came. Still yet to come. Yeah. Okay. Why I said this is because he was great for me. Because I'm fond of physics. I was fond of physics. Likewise, all of us, we seek total liberation. Total liberation. What is the meaning of total liberation? We can talk nicely, suffering of coming, the end of suffering, cessation. How? No answers. We have to believe. Others no answers. So here, the Buddha appeared, and he gave the answer. First, realize emptiness. Realize emptiness. Don't follow blindly. Let us systematically study, reflect, and you realize emptiness. Once you realize emptiness, practice this more. Once you practice more, then this experience, you see that what I'm seeing, what I'm experiencing, all through my subject, through my mind. My mind is observing all these things. My mind is interpreting all these things. My mind. And my mind has two kinds. One is conventional analysis, one is ultimate analysis. My mind, which does not explore deep, just superficial, conventional. My mind, which explores deep to see what is really from the object there, ultimate analysis. Subjecting things to this ultimate analysis, we see that everything dissolves. This experience, what I have discovered with this ultimate analysis, this is ultimate truth. And within this ultimate truth, when I experience that, all the conventionalities dissolve. Agitation, anxiety, anguish, sorrow, mental disturbance, everything dissolves in this experience. Wow, it's amazing. I never forget about experiencing, even I never heard about it. Now it's because of the Buddha that what I seek, now he came with this gift for us. So therefore he's the one who showed this to us. He's the teacher. He's the supreme of all the teachers. Because he's the one who is the only person who is able to teach what I'm seeking. So it says, the supreme among all teachers. The one who taught this peace, because I'm seeking this peace. The peace where all my mental disturbance stops. Which is freed of elaborations. Elaborations of the conventional realities. Where in this experience, all the conventionalities, sickness, aging, then everything dissolves. So this experience, emptiness, which is freed of all the conventionalities, all the elaborations, this peace is something which I'm seeking, and now here comes 2,500 years ago, Buddha Shakyamuni, he taught this. So therefore you, the Buddha Shakyamuni, are the supreme of all the teachers. Okay, so this is very important. You can recite this stanza by reflection of meaning. You will be reminded of the wisdom of emptiness. You will be reminded of the renunciation. you will be reminded of the nirvana, all. Okay, we go back to the main text. Okay, we're on page 69, and we're in the middle of the last paragraph. The four aggregates for appropriation that emerge in conjunction with consciousness are name and form. So we're done with name and form, link number 4. Link number 5, the faculties meaning the sense sources. This is again a translation the issue. Not issue as such, translation matter. The faculties, some people translate the what we call as sense sources, sense powers. Some translate them as faculties. Faculties, based on name and form, are the 6 sense sources. Faculties meaning, say we have the name and form. Name and form meaning we have the body and we have the five aggregates. In other words, 5 aggregates. Within the 5 aggregates, we see that we have the 5 sense. Within the aggregate of the form, we have this sense, eye sense power, ear sense power, nose, tongue, body. 5. The faculties, these five senses, based on name and form, are these 6. Okay, 5 physical, 1 mental. If you add the mental, then it becomes 6. The faculties, those 6 faculties, based on name and form, are the 6 sense sources, which means link number 5. What is link number 6? Contact. The conjunction of the 3 factors is contact. 3 factors meaning sense power, object, and the immediate preceding consciousness. Meaning that, for example, let's say say I'm fast asleep, then somebody brings this flower in front of me. I don't see it. To see this, my eyes should be open. Even if my eyes are open, but if the flower is hidden, you cannot see it. So the object must be there, eyes must be there, and then if my mind is, say, object is there, then sense power is there, but my mind is totally distracted over say, something else. For example, if there's sudden earthquake happening, then your mind will go after the earthquake. Although the flower is there, your eyes are looking at the flower, but your mind is 100% after the earthquake, so you are not observing what is really there. So what we need is your mental consciousness should be directed, object should be there, sense power should be there, immediate preceding mind also should be directed towards seeing the flower, directed towards seeing the flower. 3 things should be there. So with these 3 things should come together, contact. These 3 things should come together, which is known as contact. The conjunction meaning coming together of the 3 factors is contact. Experience of contact is feeling. With this contact, coming together of these 3 things, then what happens will be, then feelings will come to being. Okay, pleasant, oh, this is a pleasant flower, this is not a pleasant flower, the weather is so good, weather is not good, this person is very nice, this person is not nice. After contact, then the various feelings will come to you. Unpleasant feeling will come to you. Okay. The conjunction with 3 factors contact, the experience of contact. With contact, then you get experience. That experience of pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral is the feeling. With the feelings, then attachment to feeling. Attachment to pleasant feeling is craving. Then the intensification of the craving is appropriation or the grasping. Number 9, grasping is number 9. Appropriation or grasping. Then what is number 10? What is number 10? Becoming. Number 10 is becoming. Becoming is number 2. become mature. Number two, when turned out to be so mature, the karma becomes so mature, germinated, not germ I should say, becomes so mature to project you to the next life, that's the becoming. The action meaning the karma of the second ling, ling number 2. Action that comes, okay, let's say, that comes from appropriation and causes rebirth is becoming. Okay, let's say, action that comes from appropriation or the grasping is, which ling? Appropriation or grasping? Ling number 9. Ling number 8 and 9, what they do is they intensify the ling number 2, which is action, the karma. This action is the karma. The action of the ling number 2, this is matured by the ling number 8 and 9. 9, appropriation, it matures that action. That action, the matured version of that action, matured by the matured version of the karma, matured by the craving and appropriation, is the number 10. Action or the karma that arises from appropriation, ling number 9, that arises from ling number 9 and causes rebirth. And this action caused by the appropriation, ling number 9, and this action is to give rise to rebirth, number 11. That action, which is in between the two, intermediate between the number 9 and number 11. Number 9, appropriation. Number 11, rebirth. So, in between is number 10. What is that? The karma, which was mature, already mature by number 9. The emergence of the aggregates, such as from such a cause, is birth. So this such a cause meaning such a cause as number 8, 9, 10. Number 8, 9, 10. Number 8 and 9 made number 2 into number 10 becoming. Then number 10 will throw you into the next life. That is the rebirth. That is the birth. Causes rebirth is, the emergence of the aggregates. Rebirth. When you throw to the next life, what is thrown? You are given with what? You are given with the 5 aggregates. You are thrown to the next life, and what you get in the next life? The first thing that you get in the next life is 5 aggregates. You have the 5 aggregates. Okay. The emergence of the aggregates, 5 aggregates, from such a cause, from the cause of number 10, 9, 8, is the birth, number 11. The maturation, then number 12. The maturation of the aggregates after birth is aging. Then the perishing of the decrepit aggregates is death. So aging and number 12 you split into 2. Aging and death separate. Yes?
The maturation of the aggregates after birth, is that 4, 5, and 6?
Very good. So that is from conception is birth. Then the next moment, number 4 started. After number 11, then number 4 starts. Number 4, 5, 6, 7. And number 4, along with number 4, number 12 also starts. Along with number 4. Number 12 is aging and death. Aging starts from conception, then next moment aging starts, or it's already started. Yeah. Okay. Continue reading. The perishing of the decrepit aggregates is death. The inner torment of the deluded, attached, dying person is sorrow. So this is explained the original root text, original sutra which the Buddha taught, where the Buddha said, okay, if we turn to page 64, the first paragraph which reads, craving causes appropriation, appropriation causes becoming, becoming causes birth, and the birth causes aging and death, then sorrow. Okay, now these are being explained by Arya Nagarjuna. Sorrow, lamentation, suffering, despair Okay, instead of anxiety, change it to what is that? Bewilderment. Bewilderment. Instead of anxiety is not a good translation. It should be bewilderment. What is bewilderment?
Confusion.
Huh? Confusion. Lost. This is meaning. Okay, in Tibetan it is tupa. In Tibetan the word is tupa. Tupa is confused, bewilderment, not anxiety. Okay, so this is what we are reading now is the explanation which Arya Nagarjuna is giving to Shariputra. Explanation on the basis of the root lines taught by the Buddha himself. The Buddha, what did the Buddha teach? Page 64 on the third part. And birth and cause, aging, death, sorrow, lamentation. Okay, what is sorrow here? It explains this inner torment of the deluded, page 670. This inner torment of the deluded, attached, dying person is sorrow. This is the meaning of the sorrow. Then what is next to sorrow? Lamentation. Utterance that comes from sorrow is lamentation. This is all explanation of the root which the Buddha taught, lamentation. Experience of discomfort associated with the collection of the five consciousness is suffering, meaning that related to the five sense consciousnesses is suffering. That mental suffering accompanied by the attention is not really attention. Not really attention. Okay, let's say for the time keep it as attention. It's not really attention. The suffering accompanied by attention is despair. In other words, the physical suffering and mental suffering. The physical suffering is referred to as the suffering. Mental suffering is referred to as the despair. Moreover, any other subtle defilements of this kind are called bewilderment, not anxiety. Change it to bewilderment. So these are the nuances. So basically, when I try to translate from Tibetan to English, I make sure that I give it to a native English speaker or somebody who's very good at English. The Indians, the Indian English is so good. Not all, but the educated Indians, their English is extremely good. So therefore, I feel so comfortable giving to the Tibet House, some of the people there. The English,
Kaveri Gill.
Yes, Kaveri Gill, Tejo. Earlier there's one girl, her name is Tarani. Her English is so good, very natural English, amazing, beautiful English. Okay, so this is how I do, right? Because my English is not really native English. I give it to somebody and then let the person check it, and if the meaning is altered, again I take it back and I say that this meaning should not be altered. There's meaning there, it's not just word, meaning is there. So you can, this is the meaning, you take it, and you can put any word to convey this meaning. This meaning should not be compromised. Okay, so whereas here, I'm sure that this must be translated by a native English speaker. English is good, native English speaker, which means that not a native Tibetan. So the nuances in the Tibetan can be lost. So Tibetan word is tupa. Yeah, bewilderment. It's otherwise a very beautiful translation. Yes, Ravi?
Krishna, the virtues or the non-virtuous karma which a person accumulates in dream.
Yes.
It goes straight to the consciousness, or it goes to a same like the becoming, and what will the impact? How much?
The idea is, okay, first let's think about the 12 things. First we have to see the reality. Reality meaning reality accessible to us. First you have to understand that well. Once you understand that well, don't alter that. Don't alter that. This is the main thing. Experience is the main thing. This and then you map it with what you learned in the text. You try to map in the text. Don't try to take the text as the main thing and then try to map to the experience. Don't do that. First, your experience is the most important thing. What you experience. For example, in the dreams, we do bad things, we do good things. These are all karmas. But the dream karma is not say, dream killing. You wake up, no, I cannot possibly do that, I killed a person, right? So there, you dare to kill a person in the dream, but in real life, you don't dare to kill a person. You don't even dare to touch a knife to kill a person. So, for this, the text very clearly said, the karma that you did in the dream is going to be much less severe than the karma that you do in the waking state. But there is a karma. Karma is accumulated. Karma is done, accumulated in the dream. So now the point is this karma that you did, and you wake up, no. When you say this, then your thought of destroying the other person stops. Because you said no. That mind has already shifted the object. So what happened to the karma already done in the dream? That is implanted in the form of a seed in your consciousness. So right now, when we are so virtuous, think about emptiness, dependence, and so forth, all these negative karmas done in the past, they are stored in the mind, they are still there, they are stored there. Now, this is reality. This reality we do without altering that. Without altering this, don't bring some, oh, this is what the text says, Buddha says, this is what in this text, holy book says, so this is what is happening to us. Don't go like this. Your experience is the most important thing. Your experience, and your experience should not be a fake experience, it should be a real experience. Real experience, don't exaggerate. Try to be objective and see the empirical experiences. Then this you take without altering it, see in what text, in the text, in what context it fits. This is how we would go. Now, this experience, if you go to the text, then what happens in the dream? Yes, even in the dream, ignorance is there, then the craving is there, anger is there. With anger, you can go to kill somebody, action is done, although the action is very weak as compared to the action done in the waking state. That's weak. Action done. You wake up and then you say, no, action is already planted in your consciousness in the form of imprint. So, 1, 2, 3, gone. 1, 2, 3 already happened in the dream. 1, 2, 3 already happened. So, the number 4, 5, 6, they are yet to come. They will come only in the future lives. 1, 2, 3 done. Then the next one is number 1 to 3. After the 1 to 3, then go to number 8, 9, 10. 8, 9, 10 is only closer towards the death, not before that. Right? So this is, if what we did in the dream, with your healthy body, way before you have to die. So that, where does it fit? It fits in number 1 to 3 in the text of the 12 links of the text. It fits there. Yeah. Okay. Page 70, second paragraph. Therefore, again, another version, not really another version, another understanding, additional understanding of the 12 links, additional understanding. They are called ignorance in the sense of obscuring. Earlier, detailed explanation of what is ignorance earlier, page 69, it says here, what is ignorance? That which perceives these same 6 elements to be the unitary, whole, permanent, constant, eternal, pleasurable, self, being, life force, creation, soul, man, individual, human, person, me, mind. Along with many other such variations of misperceptions, it is called ignorance. So one ignorance is already explained there. Now the whole 12 links are going to be explained with an additional meaning. Okay, stanzas, they are page 70, paragraph 2. They are called ignorance in the sense of obscuring. To obscure the reality. Ignorance, obscuring you from seeing the reality. Number 1. Formation. Which thing is this? 2. Formation in sense of forming. Forming meaning the karma. This will form your next life. This will form your future life. Forming. Consciousness in the sense of causing to know. Consciousness? Yes, I know that I'm in Bangalore. Yes, that I know. So it's consciousness, the main job in general, consciousness is to know things. Unique thing about consciousness is to know things. This is one meaning. Sense of causing to know. Causing to know. Name and form in the sense of mutual support. Name and form, body and the mind. These two are, as long as these two are together. In the mother's womb, you brought your mind from your past life, the name from your past life, and the form from the parents. These two go together, like the two men in the same boat, two persons in the same boat. As long as you are in the same boat in the ocean, don't fight. You have to go together. When you like them, you have to go together. Body and mind, they should go together. If you fight, then you will die. Your body and mind will be separate. If these two are separate, you will die. So therefore, these two are mutually supporting each other. The body makes the mind to sustain, and the mind makes the body not to decay. So mutual support is happening within name and form. There are six sense sources in the sense of entryways. So this number, what is number 5? Number 5, sense sources. They are like the gateways to contact with the external world. Entryways. Then contact in the sense of contact. Of course, contact meaning your senses come in contact with their respective objects. Feeling in the sense of experience of pleasure, pain, and neutrality. Craving in the sense of thirst for what you are seeking. I want this, I like this. Then appropriation in the sense of appropriating, meaning intensified version of going to really grasp at it. Becoming in the sense of giving birth, to repeated becoming. Birth, number 11, birth in the sense of the emergence of the aggregates of the next life. Then aging in the sense of maturation of the aggregates. Death in the sense of perishing. Then sorrow in the sense of grieving. Lamentation in the sense of wailing. Suffering in the sense of bodily torment. And despair in the sense of mental torment. And bewilderment, not anxiety, bewilderment in the sense of subtle defilement. Subtle defilements, okay. Defilements is like defilements should not be thought of in terms of how we understand it. Mental defilements. Defilements in the weaknesses, drawbacks. It is subtle drawbacks of your being. Furthermore, not knowing reality in the sense of not apprehending it and misapprehending it is ignorance. Again, look, the ignorance. Furthermore, not knowing reality in the sense of not apprehending it, apprehending the reality, and misapprehending it is ignorance. If such an ignorance is present, what's the problem? If the ignorance is present, what's the problem? 3 types of formations develop. The next link, the karmas will be developed or it will be created. Those, what kinds of karmas? 3 kinds of karmas. Virtuous karma, contaminated virtuous karma, non-virtuous karma, and the unwavering karmas. 3 karmas. Virtuous karmas, or, okay, first let's say virtuous karma, contaminated virtuous karma, number 1, then non-virtuous karma, and then the unwavering karmas. 3. I'll explain. This is one way of translation. Another way of translation would be the positive karmas, contaminated positive karmas, and the negative karmas, and the unwavering karmas. Okay, so samsara, where this contaminated karmas formation will throw us where? Will throw us in samsara. What kind of samsara? Samsara is made of 6 realms. In the wheel of life, third wheel from the inner circle. Third wheel is split into 6 divisions. saying that this is where we are going to take birth in samsara. And before the 6, we have to split that into 3. Before the 6, 3 realms. Desire realm, formless realm, 3. Desire realm, again, can be seen into split into 6. Desire realm, 6. What are they? Hell realm, hungry ghost realm, animal realm. These 3 are the 3 lower realms. Then human realm, asuras, and the gods, devas, devis. Okay, 3. Deva, devis, God realm. God realm, then we can say within God realm of the desire realm, God realm of the form, God realm of the formless. Within God realm, you can see that there are 3. Desire realm, form, formless. God of the desire realm, God of the form realm, God of the formless realm. 3. Okay. Now with this what we see is that within desire realm, there are 3 unwholesome realms and the 3 wholesome realms. What are the causes, what are the karmas which throw us into the wholesome realms within desire realm? The karmas which are responsible for throwing us into unwholesome realms, and karmas which throw us into the form and formless realm. Karmas can be classified into 3. 1, which throws us into desire, there are 2, wholesome and unwholesome. Then the form and formless separate. So 3 categories. So the contaminated karma, the karmas which throw us into the favorable desire realm is known as contaminated virtuous karmas or meritorious karmas. Then the karmas which throw us into the unwholesome realm is known as non-virtuous karmas. Karmas which throw us into the form and formless gods, formless realm is known as unwavering karma. The next question is, why the third one is known as unwavering karma? This question. Why the third one is known as unwavering karma? Meritorious karma. Meritorious karma. Of course, even the unwavering karma is also meritorious karma. But meritorious in the context of these 3. Meritorious is a virtuous karma. Virtuous karma, this karma can alter its effects. For example, if this karma is to take birth in the God and Goddess realm, desire realms, God and Goddess of the desire realm, and then somehow some conditions are not favorable, then the same karma can throw you into the human realm. So it wavers its effects. It wavers in the effects. Whereas unwavering karma, karma of the form and formless, will never waver. The karma put to project the form, within the form, the first form realm will never ripen in the form of the human realm or the higher realms. It will only project in the same realm. The effect is unwavering. Whereas the meritorious karma to throw us into the wholesome realm, wholesome birth, wholesome realm within the desire realm, so this can alter. This will alter its effects. If you don't find a particular correct place for you to take birth in the human realm, it may throw you into the God realm. And in the God realm, if you have karma to take birth in the God realm, if you don't find these specific conducive factor there, it may throw you into the human realm. So the effect can be altered with the meritorious karma. With the unwavering, it will never waver. Where it is to take birth, it will take birth right there. Not go up, not go down. This is known as unwavering karma. Okay. Reading the second last paragraph of stanza, Okay, yes. Second last paragraph stanza, okay, page 70. Second paragraph. If such ignorance is present, 3 types of formations or 3 types of karmas develop. Those that lead to meritorious states, meaning the 3 wholesome realms within the desire realm. Those that lead to the unmeritorious states, the 3 unwholesome states within the desire realm. Those that lead to is immovable, is not immovable. This is a very literal translation. It's not a good translation. Unwavering. It doesn't mean it's not immovable. It is unwavering. Change this. Unwavering states. This is what is meant by the ignorance causes formations. Next. From formations that lead to meritorious states comes consciousness that leads to meritorious states. Okay. Then this, from this formation or the link number 2 will give rise to the link number 3. Link number 3, consciousness. Consciousness bearing the karmas of the meritorious karmas, bearing the non-meritorious karmas, bearing the unwavering karmas. 3 consciousnesses. From formations that lead to unmeritorious states comes consciousness that leads to unmeritorious states. And from the formations that lead to unwavering, it's an immovable change. Unwavering states comes consciousness that leads to unwavering states. This is what is meant by formation causes consciousness. Next, the 4 immaterial aggregates. What is next after consciousness? After consciousness. Name and form. The 4 immaterial aggregates. What are immaterial aggregates? The aggregates, 4 aggregates, taking aside the form aggregate. Aggregate apart from aggregate form. Aggregate of feeling, discrimination, composite factors, and consciousness. These 4. The 4 immaterial aggregates emerging together with the consciousness. Emerging together with the consciousness meaning number 3, consciousness. Number 3, consciousness, right? So this is what carries the imprints all the way, many lifetimes, right? Or 1 lifetime, or 2 lifetimes, or many lifetimes it carries. Then this consciousness there as the carrier, container. Then this will project you to the next birth. Next birth has the body and the mind, name and the form. You're getting it? But this consciousness, will it go there or it will not go there? This consciousness which carries these imprints will go there to next life or not go? Go. Of course it will go. So therefore it is known as, so now it is a matter of the, for you it's easy now. So there, name and form. When is the first moment of name and form?
Conception.
Not the conception.
The moment after conception.
The moment right after conception, there is a name and form. So then, name and form, there's a consciousness or not? Yes, there's a consciousness, right? Now, same consciousness has multiple isolates. Consciousness in the form of the one who serves as number 3, carrying all the imprints all the way to the limit form. This consciousness is there. Then the consciousness in the form of the consciousness of this very life with different isolates of the, for example, if we die and we take birth in, say, the Deva realm, the consciousness is there. That consciousness is the consciousness of the Deva realm. This is a new one. New, but not totally new, continuing from the human realm. But as the Deva consciousness, this is the first moment. So therefore it's new. 4 immaterial aggregates emerging together with the consciousness meaning one who carries this, along with physical form, is what is meant by consciousness causes name and form. Due to the development of name and form, the performance of actions through the entryways of the 6 sense sources occurs. Okay, number 5, sense sources. From the name and form, the name and form develops, then the 6 sources come into being. This is what is meant by name and form causes, they cause the 6 sense sources. From the 6 sense sources arise the 6 collections of context. 6 collections of context meaning the 6 sources, they come in contact with their respective objects. What are the respective objects? What are the respective objects? For the eye sense consciousness, for the eye sources, for the eye sense, visual objects. For the nose sense, the smell. For the tongue, taste. For the ear, sound. For the body, tactility. And for the mental consciousness, the phenomena other than this 5. For the mental consciousness, the phenomena other than this 5. So these 6 objects come in contact with their respective senses. Now from the 3rd paragraph, from the 6 sources arise the 6 collections of contact. This is what is meant by the 6 sources cause contact. Feelings occur precisely according to the type of contact that occurs. This is what is meant by the contact causes feeling. With the contact, then unpleasant feeling can arise, pleasant feeling can arise. And if the object is nice, pleasant feeling arises. If the object is not nice, unpleasant feeling arises. And then neutral feeling causes, the contact causes feeling. Relishing those different kinds of feelings, taking delight in them, clinging to them, and having that clinging remain is what is meant by feeling causes craving. From relishing, taking delight, clinging, and having that clinging remain comes an unwillingness to let go. It doesn't let go, it grasps with a repeated wish, may I never part from these dear and delightful forms. This is what is meant by craving causes and appropriation. It becomes intensified. What is next? After grasping. Number 10. Becoming. From relishing, such wishing gives rise to rebirth. Rebirth producing actions. Rebirth producing karma. What is that karma which is immediately before the rebirth? What is that karma which is immediately before the rebirth?
It is becoming.
Yes, which link? Link number 10. Rebirth is not, no. The rebirth is link number 11. What is immediately before the rebirth? Becoming. That's number 10. That's the karma. Such wishing, number 9. Such wishing, meaning the number 9. This number 9 gives rise to the rebirth producing action. Rebirth is number 11. 11 will be produced by the karma, number 10. Action or the karma by means of body, speech and mind. So this rebirth of the karma of the body, karma of the speech and karma of the mind. This is what is meant by appropriation causes becoming. The formation of the 5 aggregates born from such action. Then number 10 gives rise to the formation of the 5 aggregates of the next birth. The formation of 5 aggregates of the next birth born from such actions. Action number 10 is what is meant by becoming causes birth. Number 11. The maturation of the development of the aggregates. Number 12. Maturation development of the aggregates formed from birth, and their disintegration is what is meant by birth causes aging and death. Disintegration meaning the perishing. Thus this 12th link dependent arising, which comes from several different causes and from several different conditions, is neither permanent nor impermanent. Okay, neither permanent meaning that it changes. The 12 links changes. Nor impermanent meaning that it does not discontinue. Earlier we have the not permanent, not discontinuous. So, but keep it as it is, impermanent. Keep it as it, the actual wording in the Tibetan is mitapa. So, mitapa has many connotations. Impermanence has many connotations. One, technically speaking, something which undergoes change. This is technical understanding. Another one, okay, it doesn't matter, this is impermanent, okay, the person died because it's impermanent. This means that it discontinues. Whereas 12 links, they don't discontinue. It's a continuous flow, therefore it is a wheel. It's neither compounded meaning or here. So these, they have the different meanings. These explanations are very well given by Acharya Shantideva in his commentary. Compounded here means is actually not really, sorry, okay, in English it would be like dujeba. Like created. Compounded meaning like, something which was brought to creation. This would be the better translation. Brought to creation. Brought to creation has a connotation of some agent. Some agent brings these 12 links. No, it is not compounded. It's not like somebody brought to creation. These 12 links on their own they operate. No external agent bringing to the creation of these. So therefore, neither compounded in this context. No uncompounded. Okay. No uncompounded. Are they? Okay. Compounded is what? Compounded is, generally speaking, compounded means put together and then things come into being. Okay. Uncompounded means? Uncompounded means no.
Things are not put together.
Not to put together, right? Okay, independent of the factors. Okay, so here the compounded has this connotation what? Brought to creation. The first one, compounded connotation, brought to creation. So, Arya Nagarjuna is saying neither compounded, which means that these 12 links are not brought to creation by external agents. No uncompounded. Are they compounded? Are they coming together because of the factors? Yes. It's not uncompounded, which means not is one negation, un is not negation, double negation is positive. What is positive? Compounded. Compounded meaning they come into being by the dependence on various factors, by dependence on many factors. It's purely dependent origination. Okay. It's not without cause or condition. Is not an experiencer. Okay, so these vocabularies that we're going to learn here, they are not something which the Buddha or Arya Nagarjuna randomly use. These are the vocabularies used by the philosophers in those days. Experiencer is interesting. Same, what we said earlier, the Prakriti, it creates everything, the food, good foods, bad food, and everything Prakriti created, and you don't know that it's been created by the Prakriti. Then you start relishing. You experience. You become the experiencer of these. Right? And you experience the pleasant things, attachment arises. You experience unpleasant things, aversion arises. So you are this self, as the independent self. A self which is independent existent, that is described as experiencer of the creation is created by the Prakriti. Okay, not an experiencer, meaning not an independent entity as an experiencer. Okay, it's not something exhaustible. Exhaustible meaning, okay, yes, so the 12 things come into being, they will exhaust. No, as long as possible conditions are there, they will continue to operate. They will never exhaust. As long as causes and conditions are there, they will continue to operate, they will never exhaust. Something, okay, something destructible, this is English, look. Not something exhaustible, this not to be taken down also. You're getting it? Okay. This pen is not a girl. This pen is not a girl, boy, neuter. Is it correct English or not? This pen is not a person. This pen is not a person, book, table, house. Is it correct or not? Which means this not has to be applied to the others also. You getting it? Okay. Or you can be said this pen is not human being, not table, not house, not flower. This is also correct. You getting it? So here, this not is a little confusing. Not an experiencer, and is not something exhaustible, something destructible, not. This not applied to the remaining also. Not something destructible, not something that ceases. You getting it? Okay. Not something destructible, meaning that the first one, exhaustible means as long as the causes are there, they will continue to give rise to the 12 legs of dependent origination. Not something destructible, meaning that as long as the conditions are gathered, first one causes, second conditions. As long as conditions are there, this dependent origination cannot be destroyed. It will continue to be there. Not something that ceases. Okay, that things cease. Things cease when the concomitant causes are missing. When the concomitant causes are missing, for example, say the oil lamp. When the oil ceases, when the oil stops, when the oil exhausts, the fire extinguishes. Fire ceases. The lamp, the flame ceases. So it says that like the something that not something that ceases. Not something that ceases. So as long as these causes and conditions are there, like the flame of the lamp, as long as the oil is there, the flame of lamp will continue to be there. The flame of lamp will never cease. Likewise, the 12 links will never cease. Has proceeded from time immemorial. 12 links has been operating since when? Okay, are we a part of 12 links, or we are 12 links somewhere there in Delhi? We are the ones. We have been operating since when? Since time immemorial. So it has proceeded from time immemorial. We are the ones, right? We are the ones. Okay, without interruption, meaning without discontinuation. It has been operating, continuously. Like the movie being projected. So in the movie theaters, the movie lasts for how long?
2 hours.
2 hours. No, 3 hours. In the movies, okay. In the movies, 3 hours.
3.5 hours.
Okay, 3.5 hours also. Okay, let's say it's 3 hours. In the movie, 3 hours. 3 hours. Okay, let's say the projector projects the movie for 3 hours. Anytime the projector stops, the movie here stops. So interruption comes into being. So therefore, the 12 links, the movie of the 12 links has been operating so effectively. Who's that? We are the ones. We have been operating so effectively without any interruption. Since time immemorial till now. We never rested. It's amazing. Right? We never rested. This is how so effectively we need rest. We need rest. Do we need rest or not? Of course, it's so tiring actually. But then we can't do. It's a machine operating endlessly. We need to rest. When do we get rest? Huh? When I achieve Buddhahood, or when do we get rest? Huh? Break the links, very good. Anybody else? When you wake up, very good. I'm looking for something else. Huh? When you reach level 8? When you stop ignorance?
When every sentient being reaches enlightenment.
Or think more, think more. This morning I said. This moment, right now I said. Just before. The moment we began the class, I said it. Huh? No, all the answers are correct, but still I'm looking for one technical answer.
When the elaboration stops.
Exactly. Very profound answer. These are all, anybody on the street can give the answer. Right? Anybody who's exposed to, one-day teaching and a two-day teaching, they will give this answer when you become Buddha, when you become Nirvana, when you, what? In the experience of emptiness, where the elaborations dissolve, at that point, your mind stops to project things. Because with respect to you, nothing's projected, nothing's left there to affect you. Because nothing is affecting you, now your mind rests. You're getting it? One of my friends, meaning, okay, more like, I think there's one family, the mother had 2 children, and actually, I think total about 5 children, and all have some problems, this problem, that problems, and then some of them are handicapped. Then whole these many years, just mentally sucked up, burnout. And she was literally saying that, I just like to go somewhere where nobody can hear where I am. Right? I'm just so tired and burnt out. In fact, she's looking for rest. You getting it? Okay. So, if you leave everything, which makes them not to have the rest, then she thinks that she's going to get rest. Is it true or not? That's true. Right? Whatever makes them not to have the rest, if she's disconnected from this, then she will have the rest. Likewise, for us, what makes us so busy, endlessly, without any interruption, operating in this machine of samsara, since some immortal now, all these factors, what are they? What are they? What are these factors?
Elaborations.
What are these factors? Those things which with respect to you, those things that exist with respect to you. Now, who projected them? Your mind projected them. So they affect you. Positively, negatively, they affect you. Affect you means you don't have the freedom. When will you have the freedom? The moment your mind stops projecting these things, with respect to you, all these talk, then nothing can affect you. That is the time you get the rest. So therefore, sometimes this experience is described as the great rest. Great rest. Finding the rest. Some texts are known as, some texts they have the label, the great rest. Okay. Okay, we'll stop here. Deyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Arasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Dhyata Gati Gati Arasangati Bodhi Swatyata Om Gati Gati